Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of 2024 for the Chess Moves edition of Game Changers. And to thank you guys for coming on to this platform. Thank you for your support throughout 2023 and thank you for your continued support into 2024. You know, we recently hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, and to thank you for spending time with me and watching these videos every week when they come out. Thank you for your honest opinions and your views. I look forward to more of them as we continue to champion integrity and learning. Today we have 3 interesting stories to tackle. Let's get straight into them. The first of which is Katt Williams breaks the internet. Secondly, we'll tackle Mickey enters the public domain. And finally, we will tackle Claude Gay steps down. So, let's get straight into it. First story, Katt Williams breaks the internet. Now, you must have known by now of a pretty interesting phenomenon that has happened in this January. You know, many of you might know comedian Katt Williams, and those of you who don't know, because of this occurrence, you might maybe now know who he is. Katt Williams broke the internet through his latest podcast episode on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe. Now, those of you who don't know Shannon Sharpe is a former NFL football player, and he is a sports broadcast media person, but he's also a podcaster, just like myself. And during this interview, Katt basically roasted his peers, roasted everybody in comedy, even went to roast some people in music and other forms of entertainment. This video now, at the time of recording this, has over 41 million views on YouTube, making it one of the most viewed podcast episodes in history. But you know, while everybody's focused on the drama, while everybody's focused on what Katt said, and you know, focused on, you know, the shade he threw for certain people, we as Game Changers focus on what we can learn from this. I am very much interested, not so much so in the content of the interview itself, but what Shannon Sharpe, the host, said after the interview. He made some comment on his other platform called Nightcap with Chad Johnson, which is another podcast platform that he has. And he was basically commenting on what happened during the interview. Take a listen.
And what's disappointing to me, because there are people that do what you and I do, that had so much to say. And it's only because of jealousy. Because I guarantee you, if Katt was on their podcast and did exactly what he did on my podcast, they would have never said what they're saying. Oh, no, that was the decision that I had to make in a split second, Ocho. Right. And what I always try to do is not talk over the guests. They come, okay, tell your side, tell your story, tell it without me interrupting. And then if there's a point that I think I need to add, or I need to, rephrase question, okay, we'll go there. But in that situation, Ocho, I've got to make a split second. I know I got cards. Okay, I want to start at this place. But he said, I want to tell you why I came. You offer a safe place, a safe space. For people to say and to get things. Okay, fine. And then he went. Now, I'm teed up to ready to go in the direction that I think, because at the end of the day, Ocho, even though he went the direction that he went for 30 minutes, I still had to have structure. I still had to get the train back on the track. Even though I don't think he was off the track, he wanted to get that off his chest.
Okay, so we see that Shannon is questioning people's reaction to the video. You know, certain people got onto social media. Some of his peers in the media space got onto social media and was questioning his interview style. They were basically saying that he could have done so much better, you know, saying that he could have prompted people with harder questions. And some of them are downright saying that he let Katt, you know, touch these people, touch other black people. And Shannon's retort is that his podcast provides a safe space for people to speak. Now, as somebody in the podcast space, somebody who regularly interviews people both in the podcast space and through my day job, I so much understand where Shannon is coming from. In fact, that brings me to my first chess move. It's important as an interviewer, for those of you who want insight into interviewing, it's so important to create that safe space for people to speak their mind. What Shannon did was he provided a safe space for Katt to speak his mind. And oftentimes we see interviewers butting into conversations and not allowing people to actually say their piece or say what they have in their mind to say. And that's why, many of these entertainers or many people in general don't like appearing on camera because they don't want to look foolish. They don't want people to make them look foolish. And what Shannon did was he provided this safe space. Even before this episode, he provides this safe space throughout his interviews. And so people recognize that, hey, this is a place where I can come and speak my voice and let my issues be heard. And I think that's very important to note. It's very important to note for people who want to get into podcasts. It also is important to note for people who just want to have conversations with other people. Create that safe space and you'll be amazed at what you get from it. For Shannon, it's 41 million views on his platform. For you, it might be, some deep knowledge that you needed, or it might be a networking opportunity that you get. You never know what you can receive through allowing people to speak their mind through creating a safe space. So it's very important to do that. Create a safe space, allow people to say their piece when you're having conversations, and you can strike gold. Additionally, I want to point out something that I've highlighted a lot on this platform, is that when you strike success, people tend to come after you. People don't like seeing people win, sadly. Well, most people, I should say, because I like seeing people win. And I'm sure you, as a game changer, like seeing people win as well. But generally speaking, people are just haters. They don't like seeing other people win. And it's important to know that, there's a famous rapper who says that there's ugliness in the success. And I believe that so much because when you win, people tend to critique your success. When you win, people tend to look at you as if, your victory is not worthwhile. And I think it's important to note that. I think it's important to understand that when you receive some accomplishment, when you do something great, people tend to, try to shoot you down. So look out for that. You want to be victorious. You want to be successful. With that success also comes people who might want to shoot you down. We saw that with Shannon Sharp, and it's very possible that we can see it with you as well. So be very, very aware of that. All right. So these are the two chess moves that I got from that interview. Let's move on quickly to another interesting story. Mickey enters the public domain. Now, there's massive news from Disney this year. The Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse, and Minnie Mouse for that fact, is entering what they call the public domain. Now, for those of you who might not understand what this means, let me educate you a little bit. So, in US copyright law, there is an allowance for a 95-year duration for creative content, right? Now, 95 years ago, Mickey Mouse was created by Walt Disney. At least that Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse was created by Walt Disney. And this year, 2024, the copyright date on that has expired, which means that other creatives can now utilize Mickey Mouse however they want for their purposes in their creative way. This is a significant thing in pop culture because Mickey Mouse has become an iconic brand of Disney. He has become an iconic brand of Disney. He has become an iconic creation from Disney. And now anybody can utilize that, at least one version of Mickey Mouse, for whatever they want. In fact, I have an interesting clip from a source that will tell you a bit more about this situation.
What basically is happening now is that we will be able to do to the great works of Disney what Disney did to the great works of the public domain before him. And that's how creativity is supposed to happen. We build on our past.
Lawrence Lessig is a Harvard law professor and expert on copyright issues.
So this is a bit of a full circle moment then.
Absolutely. And I think Disney should celebrate that, because what we know about the creativity of Walt Disney and the Disney Corporation is that they've made stories relevant to our current time.
You see, so it is truly significant. It is truly a significant move. It is truly a significant event in creativity. I see an interesting chess move that we can derive from this story. You know, Walt Disney's creative genius is almost timeless. Walt has been dead for a very long time now, and Mickey Mouse is still relevant in today's society. So much so that people are waiting for Mickey to enter the public domain so that they can utilize this content in whatever way they want. The fact that Mickey Mouse still remains a symbol and extends, even long after Walt has been dead, underscores Disney's enduring prowess and timeless appeal with his creations. His ability to create these characters enduring throughout the eons of time tells how great of a man he was, how great of a visionary he was, at least in the creative realm. I think it's important as creators, as content creators, to create what I call timeless content. Content that will be relevant long after we are gone. And this is what the Chess Moves platform is for. This is what the main Game Changers platform is for. Content that will be relevant regardless of how long into the future somebody sees it. When we create that type of content, our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren will recognize the value in it, just like Disney's creation of Mickey Mouse has been relevant throughout the ages. So too, your content can become relevant throughout the ages. Create timeless content. Create content that would be relevant to people even long after you no longer exist. It's very important to leave a legacy with the content that you create. All right? So this is the chess move I derived from this particular story.
This ad slot could be yours. In a world filled with stories, make yours resonate. Introducing Prime ad slots on our podcast, the gateway to a captive audience eager to hear your message. Secure your exclusive ad slot now. Contact via our Instagram page to find out more.
Finally, let's move on to our last story. Claude Gay steps down. Now, those of you who might not know the name Claude Gay is was a president of Harvard, and she has gotten into a lot of controversy in the past few months. Many of you know of the war in Gaza. In fact, we'll leave a link down below so that you can check out that content, because we addressed it in another episode. And these issues that are happening in that war have been spreading throughout society. It has gone as far as to spread onto university campuses in the United States. Some people support Israel, some people support Gaza side of the war. And, it has become so disgusting on certain campuses because people are now utilizing this to show stuff like anti-Semitism, or in some cases anti-Muslim agenda. And this happened at Harvard University. Now, when that happened, there were calls for Gay to speak against the behavior of some students. There were calls for her to really tackle the presence of anti-Semitism on her campus. But she didn't do that. In fact, she was called before a court hearing because of it. And she refused 17 times under oath to acknowledge that, Jews had a difficult past and anti-Semitism was something that you should stay away from. Now, even in spite of all of this, many of the professors at Harvard still supported Gay because she has been seen as an iconic person. She's only the second female to be a president at Harvard. She's also the first black president, was the first black president to be the president at Harvard. So even throughout, this ordeal, they supported her. However, recent issues with her alleged plagiarism during the time when she was doing her dissertation have prompted her to eventually step down from her role. Students, when interviewed or polled, have expressed mixed feelings because of that. Because she, as I said earlier on, had become iconic because of what she represented. However, her clear stance, a clear anti-Semitic stance, has put them in a conundrum. They cannot support somebody who behaves that way. I derive an interesting chess move from this story. Effective leadership is crucial when sensitive situations arise. If Claude Gay had truly decided to just denounce anti-Semitism, regardless of how she felt about it personally, but decided to just denounce it and decided to speak against what is obviously, something that goes against basic human decency. If she had decided to do that, she would have saved herself a lot of trouble. She would have also saved, her legacy in some way. Now, that legacy has become tainted because she was forced to step down, and she is no longer the iconic figure that she was supposed to be. It's important as leaders, as game changers, to tackle the issues when the time comes. Because if you don't do so, it can fester and become somewhat of a problem. So, be effective in your leadership, especially in sensitive situations. Right? So this is the chess move I have derived from this story. This is the end of our first chess move episode for 2024. As usual, let's go through what we learned. First chess move. It's important to make people feel comfortable, particularly when you're interviewing them. Second chess move. When you get success, people will come after you. Third chess move. Leave a legacy that lasts. Final chess move. Effective leadership is crucial in sensitive situations. I hope you learned something through this episode. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this first episode of 2024. And to thank you for staying loyal to Game Changers. And to thank you for continuing to watch this content every week, every day for some of you. Thank you for creating a legacy, helping us create a legacy of good content. You mean so much to me. I hope you are learning something through this series in particular, and I will continue to champion the cause of information and learning. Thank you very much for tuning in. Anyhow, as usual, I'll see you next time. Stay hungry until then. Bye-bye.